Hello, everybody. Welcome to the UGA Sports recap of the day 2 of Georgia spring practice. I'm here with Jed May. I'm Rodney DeBolsey. We appreciate everybody tuning in to UGA Sports for all your updates. We have 4 other guys right now who are either putting together a photo gallery, one of 2 photo galleries. They'll be ready here shortly, or putting out their notes. We've got a bunch of notes. When Jed leaves here, he's going to write up all his notes. I'll write up a few. Kirby, smart, normal form, yelling at everybody. He's picked some new whipping boys to yell at, high demand. A lot of recruits here. A lot of recruits. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, I mean, Juju Lewis is here, number 1 quarterback, number 1 player for 2025. Zion Grady, a top outside linebacker target, was there. Eugene Hilton, CJ Wiley, a couple of receiver targets were here today. Ethan Barber, who is committed, was here trying to recruit some guys. So yeah, it's, the first day of practice on Tuesday wasn't a huge visitor day, but today and then this coming Saturday as well are going to be huge on the visitor front.
And for the love of God, if you're a recruit and you're at one of Kirby Smart's practices, do not look at your damn phone.
No, he called people out on it when we left. He said, if you're looking at your phone, you don't care about my
all
practice.
you prospects, if you're looking at your phone, that means you're not interested in my practice. Dude, don't
do it.
Pay attention. We were paying attention to 22 new early enrollees, 7 transfers in. We didn't get a whole lot of time, just a few minutes. I don't want to call it chaos, but I mean, everybody's moving around. It's tough to get some, it's tough to really look out there. But before we get to the new guys, tell me, I don't want to say position battles, but guys are repping. There's a lot of holes that are needing to be filled. Who's going first? Who's going second? It's tough to say on day 2 what that means, but it's worth noticing.
Yeah, so I was looking at the secondary and the linebackers. The safeties look like Dan Jackson and let me look down here. This is great. David Daniel, Sisvan, who were at the top. Which again, Malachi Starks is out for spring.
Right.
He had shoulder surgery, so no shock to see him out there. To not see him out there, I should say. Second safety is Justin Rhett, and then Jake Pope, who transferred in from Alabama. It looked like Janelle Aguero was working at the number 1 star spot. There was a time where it was kind of 2 halves of the field.
Yeah.
Janelle was working at star on one side and Kyron Jones was on the other side. So looked like he was number 1 star, but obviously it's hard to tell without the whole 11 out there on defense. Dalen Everett, Julian Humphrey looked like they were going top at corner. No real shock there. Freshman Ellis Robinson looks awesome, as we kind of figured he would. And yeah, outside linebackers, 2 things. One, Sam and Pimba they were going in groups of 2. Sam and Pimba was going alongside Chaz Chambliss in the first group, which is a guy who's taking a big jump. Michael Williams is working with outside linebackers, which we kind of thought he would be.
Yeah.
Joseph Jonah Ajonye also was there towards the end. The freshman just had a crazy rise in the rankings. Looks great. He came over with Michael to get some of that outside linebacker cross-training toward the end. So that's something that we didn't necessarily expect, but when you look at him, when you look at him next to Michael, it kind of makes a lot of sense.
Same body shape, but same style. Same style of play. We had a big story today about Michael Williams, basically standing up more. He did it in the Peach Bowl, so they want to see more of him as a pass rusher instead of being that 3-eye technique, moving him out to 5, 7, 9, and he's excited about it. And hell, I'm excited about it. And JJA, yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
I was watching most of the offense. Some of the guys that stood out to me, I thought Trevor Etienne was a lot smaller than I expected. He's not a big guy. He's 5'9", around 200 pounds. But Georgia has some big running backs. You look at Rod Robinson, guy's yoked.
And Chauncey Bowens isn't small either.
Chauncey Bowens is not
Huge.
A small man either. So,
and Branson Robinson's he's not super tall, but he's big. Obviously not out there.
Oh, Andrew Paul's not a small guy.
Yeah,
so
there's beef back there.
When you see the 5'9" guy, you're like, wait, that's the star from Florida? But he is, and he was going first. Roderick Robinson was going second in a lot of the drills we saw. And again, a lot of it's just catching passes, and they're not always going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's day 2. I don't read too much into it. Dylan Bell looks great. No shocker there. Of course, Oscar Delp leading your tight ends everywhere. 2 guys that kind of stood out to me just from a quick view. Colby Young, the transfer wide receiver out of Miami. That is a big boy. That is huge. And then yesterday we saw London Humphreys. There's a picture of him out there. He looks big too, so they're good. Tyler Williams has put on some mass. He's already 6'3". So that James Coley's out there, and let's talk about this real quick. James Coley is back to being the James Coley of old. There are maybe Todd Monken in the list of most distinctive coaching styles. It is blue. He works blue. He's a bit foul-tempered, foul-mouthed, and you better have a thick skin if you want to play wide receiver for James Coley. Josh Crawford was coaching him up as well, but James, he was making guys redo things, and he has his group of wide receivers. This is maybe one of the biggest group, tallest, size-wise. And that's not to say that it changes. I mean, Ladd McConkey's not the biggest guy, but he's effective. But if you were Eugene Hilton and you're watching those guys, you're like, these guys are huge. So it's a big group. I thought the quarterbacks. Speaking of, Carson Beck is your biggest quarterback by far. I mean, he looks like a giant out there amongst the other guys. Saw some great passes from Ryan Puglisi. Saw him. Gunnar Stockton looks good. There was some missing on the throwing and catching. You know, again, they've got the 4 guys lined up. They're all throwing routes. Then they shift down. One goes to the end, and they all throw again. This day 2.
Yes,
it is obviously
day 2 after what 2 months without practicing, more or less, a little more.
Right. So it wasn't as clean as it could have been on the throwing and catching. The O-line, there's not a whole lot of changes on the O-line. You expect to see Jared Wilson, Xavier Truss, Ernest Green. Not a whole lot of changes on the O-line. I'll have to go back through the photos. We're shooting really quickly to see who's line 2 and line 3. But the lines look good. No real shocks in the wide receiver groups or in the quarterback rotations. The offense looks pretty set. To me, all the questions were on defense.
Yeah, how's the corners going to work out? What are the safety? I guess the safety next to Malachi Stark's going to look like. Who does start? Is it going to be Janelle Aguero? Is it going to be Kyron Jones? Maybe did just Chris Pugh get a look there? Ja'Cory Thomas
Ja'Cory Thomas.
Ja'Cory Thomas is a guy who got it a little bit on the mic today, and he's like, he hadn't really broken through at safety. He hadn't really broken through. He's a talented guy, or else he wouldn't be here.
Well, if Kirby's yelling at him, if he wasn't talented, Kirby wouldn't yell at him.
Right, exactly. So
we expect a lot from him. Anyway, we got a lot of stuff to write up. We got a lot of photos to put out. We're going to have an offensive gallery and a defensive gallery. All the as many players as we could get will be in those galleries. So go to ugasports.com, check it out. Subscribe to this channel. It would mean a lot to us if you did. And we'll talk to you later.